So I want to spend the rest of our time, and I've got about 10 minutes left, talking about some of best practices within pay-per-click marketing. As with any new initiative or new marketing channel in this case, it's gotten more complex over time. So what pay-per-click looked like 6 or 8 years ago is tremendously different from what it looks like today. It's far more complex. There's a lot more that you can do. And in fact, I'm probably only going to be able to hit 20 or 30% of the features that you can use nowadays through pay-per-click in this presentation, just because for the sake of time. For example, a lot of people don't know that you can now advertise on television, radio, and newspaper through Google's AdWords program. It's not exactly pay-per-click, but through that same interface, you can see a separate set of reports, and you can place bids to get your ads into local newspapers or local, generally it's cable television stations, but could be a variety of radio stations in your area. You would upload, say, a radio spot that you'd produced to the Google system, bid on getting your radio spot to appear on the radio stations, and then if you're the high bidder for that radio station, your ad would appear. So there's lots. The pay-per-click industry is just developing and expanding even outside of pay-per-click. We now have ads showing up on mobile devices and you name it. So I'm going to hit a few of the highlights here of things that you want to be thinking about if you're doing pay-per-click. One of them is you never stop optimizing. Now, one of the benefits of pay-per-click is that once you set it up, you can really step away and it will just run. If you have a set budget amount per month and you have it charging to, say, a purchasing card from your university, you can set up the campaign and just let it run forever, and it will just run till you run out of money, and then it will charge your purchase card and keep your ads running. But that's not a good way to manage a campaign, obviously. You want to do ongoing improvements of your keywords. So if you have keywords that even if they're getting a lot of clicks, but you're not seeing a high conversion rate on that keyword, you may want to stop showing the ad for that keyword. So if I was showing, say, the keyword paralegal, but my conversion rate was 1%, and I had other keywords that had a conversion rate of 4 or 5%, I might say, even though I'm getting a lot of traffic to my website by bidding on the term paralegal, it's not worth it because those people aren't converting, they're not enrolling, and so I might get rid of that keyword. But I might add additional keywords that are similar to the ones that are doing really well in a campaign, so you can see that from the reports. And you do the same thing for your ads. You want to constantly have 2 or 3 ads running at any given time for a specific ad group, and then every so often go and look at those ads. The ones that are performing best, keep. The ones that are performing poorly, go ahead and get rid of those ads and create other new ones that are similar to the ones that were performing well. In fact, you might change just one variable at a time. You might have the exact same ad but with 2 different titles, or the exact same ad with just one thing changed in one of the description lines to see which performs better. And over time, you can really work your way toward the perfect ad for your program. Other things you want to do. You want to make sure that you're sending people to specific pages of your website. This is kind of the rookie mistake that a lot of pay-per-click advertisers make as they're getting started, is they set up all these ads and they send everyone, no matter what the ad says, to the home page of their organization, or in this case their department. Well, if someone is doing a search on something as specific as, say, a Spanish language class, take them right to the Spanish language class. Make the destination URL that you put in for that ad the page on your website that shows those kinds of classes. There is a tremendous amount of data showing that getting people to a specific class page increases your conversion rate and thus your ROI. There's also a feature within pay-per-click called negative keywords, and it's not what most people think. Negative keywords actually end up being keywords that filter your ads, such that if someone searches, say, for paralegal, but then I might say one of the negative keywords for paralegal might be free, or let's say I have an in-class physical paralegal program, but not an online program. And if someone goes and searches for online paralegal certificate, I may want my ad to not appear because I know they're not part of my audience. So a good example of this, kind of a humorous example of this, is if someone goes in and searches on the term training, You don't know if they are looking for dog training, marathon training, puppy training, potty training, because they've got a toddler, weight training, toilet training. All of these terms would be potentially paired with the term training, but you want to make sure that just because someone is searching with the word training in their search, that your ads aren't appearing for people who are really looking for puppy training. Okay, so you can assign negative keywords at both the campaign level and at the specific ad group level, and you want to think hard about what those might be. Things that we almost always add in campaigns we're setting up would be terms like free or cheap. If you know that your program is relatively expensive, you don't want people who are searching for free computer training, because they're probably looking for online tutorials, and you're going to just waste your money if you're paying for them to click to visit your website. Another feature you might consider are things called match types. This allows you to better narrow when your ads might appear. The default when you enter a keyword into the system is what's called broad match, which means if the system feels like your ad is a relatively good, if the system feels like your keyword is a relatively good match for a search someone's doing, even if it doesn't match it exactly, it may show your ad. Some people like to narrow that and say, no, you know what, I only want my ad to show if someone types these two words in this specific order. So for instance, project management. You might say, I only want my ad to show if the word project and management are together in that order, then I want the ad to show, and that would be considered a phrase match. Now, exact match is similar to phrase match, except that it means no other words could have been used as that person was searching. So for instance, if you used exact match on the terms project management, then if someone then did a search for project management tutorial, your ad would not show under exact match, because they're not doing just the keyword that you've selected. And then, of course, the negative match I've already talked about. That's the same thing as a negative keyword. Broad match again is the default, and you're kind of relying upon the advertising system, Google, Yahoo, etc., to decide when is the best time to show your ad based on the search phrase someone's entered being relatively similar to what you're bidding on. What I find that a lot of people is a good technique is start with the broad match. If you're finding that you have a pretty low conversion rate, then you might want to try making it narrowing it and doing just a phrase match. If you're still getting a low conversion rate but a lot of clicks, then you might go to an exact match. You're just sort of getting more and more specific about when your ad appears. But again, the default is broad match.